Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Color X Malice along Aiji Yanagi's route. He helped us deal with Kazuki's late night outing, as did Okazaki, so now I kinda owe them both a favor. But right now we're at the next day already, having spent the whole night up dealing with that matter. So let's see how our sleep-deprived day goes. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. My increased motivation stemmed from last night, of course. Kazuki was linked to someone tied to X Day. Now I could never be sure that Adonis would not aim their fangs at someone other than me. I was painfully aware of that now. I had to do whatever I possibly could to prevent that from happening. I need more intel. Yeah, poor Kazuki's already surrounded by trouble. Now then, I wondered where I could go to scrounge up more information on the X Day cases. Sakuragawa? Let's see, we will go to the firing range. Okay, if you say so. Guess we can practice some shooting. Phew! I kind of felt like I had been futilely spinning my wheels. I need to collect myself. So, I went to my usual sanctuary. That's how I relax and unwind. Just like Yanagi on the roof. Oh, I get to shoot. Does it matter if I hit or not? Good, that's it. 3 times again. Good, that's it. And one more. That's enough for now. Alright, some people are revving their cars. They're having another stupid late night car show in a parking lot. And they're revving their car, so I'm really hoping that's not showing up in the background. But I'm using a dynamic mic, so hopefully that'll be filtering it out. So I had to go to like every floor in the building? Okay, so after the firing range... You came in a great time, Hoshino. What? That's a scary thing to hear. Coming from you. When I poked my head into field support, Mukai greeted me graciously for some reason. You've kept me waiting for too long. Now, tell me about the director's weaknesses. Any vulnerabilities I can exploit? No, I don't... Mukai, knock it off, or I'll develop a special harassment just for you. Oh ho ho, I was just kidding. Totally kidding. That didn't sound like a joke to me. Did you come here to ask about yesterday's case? Yeah, I was wondering if there were any new developments. They seem to have narrowed down the list of suspects, but nothing other than that. I see. Thank you. But narrowing down the suspects could count as a development. Even if the rest of what Shiraishi said was sarcasm, he had given me a bit of his info. Now Field Operations Unit. Searching for more information on the X Day cases, I poked my head into Field Ops. I looked around looking for someone who looked like they might speak to me. I made eye contact with a scary-looking man. Don't worry, yeah, Satake. He's a good guy. What is it, girl? Sakuragawa told me about him before. His name is Satake. He was Enomoto's former superior, and the one to ask about the initial investigations. I'm from SRCPO. The residents around yesterday's crime scene are uneasy, so they're asking if there have been any new updates. It wasn't exactly a lie. We had gotten a lot of reports today thanks to the recent batch of homicides. Nobody could rest in this state of affairs. That's not my department. Still, the initial investigation is over. If you're getting lots of complaints, just tell them that we'll solve it soon. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, it doesn't look like this will be over anytime soon. Understood. Thank you. Also, I had been intimidated by Satake's presence, but I managed to get him to hear me out. Now to forensics. Time to visit Sakuragawa. Excuse me, is Sakuragawa in? You're back? Sakuragawa had come out to greet me, not even bothering to hide her exasperation. What, you don't want to see me? She lets everything show on her face. Why did you like me so much better on everybody else's route? It was true that I came by quite often to see if she had any new information. I bug her too much. I couldn't deny that I was being persistent. I was wondering if there had been any new developments on yesterday's homicide. Not exactly nothing, but it's a minor development. The damage to the burned body was severe, but there were a few oddities. Take a look. Thank you. I expressed my sincere gratitude to Sakuragawa for showing me the new files. Oh, that was all? We don't get details? Alright, to investigations headquarters. I made my way to the investigations HQ and peeked inside. They don't seem like they're in a meeting.
Hey, where are the files from earlier? Huh? Didn't the chief take them? Seriously? This fell out. Is he going to leave without it? Oh crap, we're going to hear it later.
Feels like a big commotion. If I could use the chaos to my advantage, I might be able to get some intel. That feels impossible, though.
Oh, and I just gave up?
Excuse me. I have a question about yesterday's suspect. Anyway, I decided to try and casually talk to one of the investigators.
Huh? Sugawara? Hey, what are you doing? Get over here! Yes, sir.
I had managed to engage one of them for a moment, but the investigator was pulled into some other task. Still, I might have managed to get a fragment of a lead. I guess the name, I mean? When I returned to my desk, I sat down and let out a satisfied hum. I felt like I had gained some information, but it was all just scraps. None of it was critical information that would have an impact on the case on its own. Well, maybe if you put it together. I can't keep progressing like this. This was too slow to be a real investigation. My inexperience as an investigator meant that I was useless if I couldn't get good intel.
Why are you sighing, Hoshino? Did you eat a proper meal? Oh.
While I was spacing out, I hadn't noticed that Mochida was looking at my monitor. My screen was displaying a website that collected rumors about the X-Day cases.
Oh, I thought you were acting kind of odd lately. Don't tell me you've been investigating the X-Day cases on your own.
Yes. As usual, I totally spilled the beans.
Ugh.
I couldn't lie to him. I had no choice. I shrunk down, ready for a verbal lashing.
Well, it's natural for you to be curious. The X-Day cases are the reason our job has gotten so busy.
Huh?
Did you think I'd get mad at you for that?
Yeah. This isn't part of my duty, so...
The SRCPO exists to reassure the public in the midst of the X-Day crisis. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to know a little more about the X-Day crimes.
Yeah, in fact, something like that, it would probably be good for the whole public to be as knowledgeable as possible. Kind of a see something, say something sort of thing.
I'm curious about how the case is going too. Actually, I've been poking into it myself.
There we go. What? You, Mochida?
Not so much that I get caught, of course. So I haven't really learned anything that could help with the case.
Mochida, sir.
Oh?
Encouraged by Mochida's graciousness, I suddenly raised my voice. This could be my big chance. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Isn't there more I could be doing as an SRCPO officer? Of course, I know that I already have a job to do. But the X-Day deadline is closing in on us. The frequency of the crimes has started increasing as well. Even though we've been getting more reports from the public, SRCPO doesn't have access to much info, so we can't explain things to them. I feel like at this rate, we risk not helping as many Shinjuku citizens as we could have.
Hoshino.
Mochida seemed to be surprised by my fervor. Everything I had said was completely honest. It was what I had been thinking all this time. The people of Shinjuku were directly appealing to us for help, but we couldn't act. It frustrated me and made me feel impotent.
Yeah, you're right. I understand your desire to help the people here better than anyone. As long as you don't neglect your day job, I won't fuss if you choose to privately look into it. Your zeal is a credit to our profession. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Mochida encouraged me with a beaming smile. I felt nothing but gratitude for his concern, which warmed the cockles of my heart. But I won't make much headway sneaking around. I was painfully aware of our lack of progress. There was only so much I could do in secret. I wouldn't be of any real help to Yanagi's team if I just kept browsing abstracts and memos.
Oh, I understand how you feel. Right now, there are people wondering if we are even trying to solve the X-Day cases. I was actually thinking about trying to slip into Investigations HQ.
Yeah, I tried that myself a minute ago. Mochida's musings gave me an idea. That's right, this could work. I had nothing to lose. A bruised ego was the worst that could happen. Mochida, do you have a moment?
What is it?
I gathered my courage and made eye contact. Can't SRCPO assist people in Investigations HQ?
What?
Can we become PAs? Mochida had brought me into the hallway to talk. He had been quiet. But after my suggestion, his eyes had gone wide. Possibly moved by my zeal, he had gone to argue for authorization. Couldn't hurt. He must be getting yelled at.
Don't scare me like that.
Sir?
No, I mean, that's fine. I was just wondering if this is all a crazy dream.
What?
SRCPO has been cleared to work in Investigations HQ.
Huh? Really? I never actually expected them to give us permission. But this is fantastic. If I was allowed to work in investigations, new information would come my way at least. The officers that would actually work there would probably be more experienced than I was, but I'd take whatever I could get. Thank you so much, Mochida.
Don't start celebrating yet, Hoshino. There's more.
Huh? This should have been good news, but Mochida was being very still. Alright, give me the rest of it. Did something happen? Did they force some troublesome job on you in exchange for us getting permission, or...?
Not exactly. Masanobu Mochida and Ichika Hoshino have been ordered to be the SRCPO's participants in the investigation.
Huh? But why? I could understand why they'd pick Mochida, but I had no idea why they would include me. 'Cause Adonis is throwing its weight around in the department. There were other members of SRCPO who would be far more helpful than a rookie like me. Now I'm nervous. This had gone too smoothly. No matter how green I wasn't so airheaded that I'd be thankful for the sudden stroke of luck.
At first, the brass told me not to waste their time with stupid questions, as I expected. They asked what point our help would have, so I thought they were about to dismiss me when Commissioner Minagishi passed by. The commissioner heard what was happening and said, "By all means, let's include them." Honestly, I don't understand it.
I see. So now Minagishi's kinda suspicious. But I'm not sure if it's because he's in the know on our side, or if he's in the know on the other side. Minagishi was an investigations bigwig. A single word from him was enough to grant our approval. I have a bad feeling about this. Me too, it's suspicious. And there he is.
I see everyone's here. Well then, let's start the meeting. Please begin, Morioka.
And my darling Morioka, the guy closest to my age in this game.
We have some new members.
Commissioner Minagishi of Investigation Section 1 kicked off the meeting. The person he called on was also from Section 1, Division Chief Hajime Morioka. He was the highest in command after the Chief of Police. I was anxious, but the entire room was focused on Morioka. He scares me.
Masanobu Mochida and Ichika Hoshino of the Special Region's Crime Prevention Office. Sir.
Sir. Mochida and I hastily stood at attention when Morioka called on us. I was more nervous than I'd ever been. I could feel the whole room's eyes on us.
Hey, why SRCPO? Hell if I know. Where is SRCPO anyway? I've never heard of them. They work at the service window. What is Morioka thinking? Shh, quiet!
I could hear whispering from all over. I controlled my emotions so that people wouldn't get a bad impression of me. I'd expected this kind of reception. We weren't welcome in the slightest. 'Cause we're such little peons.
SRCPO will be assisting us with gathering information about the middle school bombing that took place in June. We already have people working the case, so speak with them to rule out possible suspects. Yes, sir. All supervisors, give me your daily reports. Let's start with organized crime.
And that was basically how our first investigations meeting went. Rather succinct? Stressful? I feel so exhausted. We haven't even done anything yet.
Yeah, well...
After the meeting was over, Mochida and I sunk into a pair of chairs, sighing heavily. Stress! Although we had been assigned roles for now, the detectives had told us point blank, we don't expect much from you, so stay out of our way. Real positive, guys. It was very demoralizing. I just felt mentally fatigued. Shouldn't they be happy? I mean, you can just throw all the busy work on us, right? We're assistants. Who doesn't want an assistant?
Mochida, Hoshino, a moment please.
Huh? As I was sighing again, I heard a voice speak from behind me.
Commissioner Minagishi. Please stay seated. There's no need to be nervous. Yes sir. We greatly appreciate the help of the SRCPO, since you're a direct source of public communication. Right now, we can't overlook a single detail.
Right. He was undoubtedly just paying us lip service. Still being told me that at least made me feel slightly like I belonged.
First, take these. Now that you're working in investigations, you have a lot to catch up on.
Smiling, Minagishi handed us both a massive dossier. Oh, just what we need. This is... wow. There were several documents inside. Just from that glance, I knew what they were. SRCPO had never seen anything like this. They were detailed files on the X-Day crimes. It was exactly what I longed for. Yeah, this is way too convenient. He totally had us do this just so he could give me that.
What?
When Mochida saw them, he started sweating. I understand exactly how he felt.
Is it really alright for us underlings to be handling this information? I wouldn't have given them to you otherwise. Of course, these are internal documents, so I'd prefer you didn't link them to the public.
Does that mean they can't leave the building?
However, the information in there is all details that the criminals already know we know. It wouldn't matter if they got a hold of them.
Something struck me as off about his reply. Are we under suspicion? He knows you're wearing that collar.
Ichika Hoshino.
Yes?
You're acquainted with Aiji Yanagi.
Huh?
Good grief, man. Just popping in like that. You're scaring her. Morioka, what's with that scary look?
He's like, that's just my face, dude. Minagishi gave me an apologetic expression, as if taking pity on me.
Hoshino, we know that you're acquainted not only with Yanagi, but also Sasazaka and Enomoto as well. Are you... friends?
Yes. And hopefully someday more. I managed to answer honestly, thanks to the slightly more relaxed mood. There was really no point in lying anyway. They'd just suspect me more if I did.
Can I ask you where you met?
I happened to run into them during one of my patrols.
I see.
It wasn't a lie, but it also wasn't the truth. I responded hesitantly. Minagishi smiled.
For now, let's just leave it at that then, shall we? Minagishi. As long as it doesn't impede our work, I don't intend to stop our investigators from having personal lives and relationships.
This was directed at Morioka, who didn't seem like he accepted this. It had the air of a warning. Yes, sir.
I think we'll excuse ourselves for now. Is that alright with you, Morioka? Yeah.
Finally, we were free. I could actually hear my heart pounding.
What was that? Are you alright, Hoshino?
I'm not sure either. While I was able to respond to Mochida's concern, I was internally panicking. I had unconsciously raised my hand to my neck. I tried to calm myself down. The police know I'm working with Yanagi's team. I figured as much. Okazaki had figured me out after all. I knew that the collar was still secret. If they knew about it, I wouldn't be alive. Maybe I was invited to investigations because of Yanagi's team. I was consorting with a group of ex-officers. I was a rookie officer of no significant note. They must have sensed that something was off about me being there. I'll have to be even more careful from now on. I repeated that resolution to myself. April-November update added to materials. Wow, we're getting so much stuff done so much earlier in this month than in the other routes. I noticed a new text and fished my phone out of my coat pocket. I gotten out of work early today, so I had already left the station. As soon as I left work, I had sent a text to Yanagi, updating him on the situation. He was probably responding to that.
Off doing something crazy again. Anyway, come tell me about it. I'm in the park from yesterday's case.
I could practically hear his exasperation. Okay, I'll be right there. What, does he know what happened already? I sent a quick reply and headed to the park that Yanagi indicated.
Hey.
Sorry to keep you. What are you doing here again? The park Yanagi had come to was the site of yesterday's incident. The investigators had all left, although the area was still under police cordon. You came here yesterday, too. I thought you'd finished examining the scene.
This isn't exactly an examination. I tried reconstructing the criminal's thoughts.
The criminals? That's what the profilers do, right? I guess that's what Shiraishi does, too. I've heard that you say that when someone does that, there's a danger of empathizing too heavily with the suspects.
That would never happen to Shiraishi. He views it as somebody else's problem. He can easily become someone else. He compartmentalizes the two sets of emotions. That's part of why profiling suits him so well.
I think that would have worked well for me, because I can very easily put myself in the mindset of other people. I see. I felt like there were implications in what Yanagi said. It sounded self-deprecating. Maybe he thinks that he himself empathizes too deeply with criminals? Of course, I couldn't ask him about that. Instead, I chose to bring up something else that I had thought of. I'm surprised that you and Shiraishi get along so well.
Yeah, I've known Shiraishi since I was new to the police force. I've grown accustomed to his temperament. Come to think of it, he might be the friend I've had the longest.
That's a surprise. Somehow I thought you two were complete opposites. It felt to me like you don't know each other very well, despite you two being friends for such a long time.
It might look that way from the outside.
Oh, there's that smile that you don't see very often from him. Yanagi chuckled at my opinion. I rarely see this side of him. He seemed to be enjoying himself.
But we're alike in some ways.
Huh?
Haven't you ever thought of that?
I'm sorry. I'm just not seeing any way you two are alike.
Yeah, I guess it could seem that way. You're not fond of Shiraishi, are you?
Guilty. I still don't know much about him, but I can never tell what he's thinking. I like him. I like that he's kind of coy, really.
Well, he is odd, but he's just awkward. He's not so unlikable once you get used to him.
Awkward? I had trouble just accepting that. That didn't seem like the right word for him. But Yanagi had known Shiraishi much longer than I had. I didn't know all that much about Shiraishi. I didn't know Yanagi that well either.
More importantly, what's all this about you joining Investigations HQ? Is that true?
Well, not joining them, but helping them. I didn't exactly join them per se. We just decided to ask if we could help, and they assigned us to the team for some reason. But now, I can finally get the newest, most detailed intel from headquarters. Though, it seems that the price for that is that Morioka is keeping a sharp eye on us. I'll have to move carefully from now on. I'll do my best to gather better information and support your investigation. I had to be more careful now, but the situation certainly wasn't bad. If I had access to information in real time, that would definitely be of help to the team. Yanagi had a slightly dour expression when he saw how fired up I was.
Hoshino, you're not forcing this, are you?
Huh?
I know that you're anxious to pitch in, but you'll lose sight of things if you force the issue.
I knew that I was trying a little too hard, but it was painful to hear it said out loud. It all started last night. So far, I've been focusing on my work and ignoring my little brother. Even if he hates me, he's still my brother. I want to do whatever I can to protect him. But Kazuki is human too, and unlike me, he has aspirations for the future. I realize that I can't just protect him while the world around him isn't at peace. I've just come to grasp that now. As long as Shinjuku is mired in chaos, Kazuki will never feel like he's safe, even though I'm protecting him.
I see.
Yanagi had been listening to me quietly. I was thankful for his patience, but now I felt a little embarrassed. I was pushing myself, but not unreasonably so. I was about to explain that when... Mommy, I want to play in the park! There was a little girl peeking through the park entrance. The child gawked at the empty park with shining eyes. Hey, don't run off alone! Aww! I told you it's dangerous. Are you listening? Do not let go of my hand. Ow! Mommy, that hurts! A woman who appeared to be the girl's mother rushed in and roughly yanked her away. It was a hysterical overreaction, but one that had become the norm in this town. She's so on edge, it didn't even seem like she wanted to take the girl out on a walk. She'd regret it forever if anything happened, so it was natural that she was so cautious. But they apparently just couldn't stay home. After all, humans are still creatures who are driven to do dumb things out of habit. Come to think of it, I was about the same age as that girl. A thought had slipped out while I was thinking about a memory of my childhood. When I was in kindergarten, I used to get along really well with my brother. We held hands and went everywhere together. But when Kazuki was little, he was much more talented than I ever was. Our parents always spoiled Kazuki and were always complimenting him and never expected anything out of me. It got me pretty down. But things changed around the time I started going to elementary school. It was when we came to Tokyo as a family.
When your family came to Tokyo? You mean you didn't live here yet?
Yes, my hometown is Niigata. I think we traveled to Tokyo to visit some relatives. Then I think we got caught up in some kind of incident.
Huh? Caught up in an incident?
One that involved him? Well, I say that, but my childhood memories of it are kind of sketchy. All I really remember is that I was really scared.
I see.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? The fear I felt was so powerful that it left behind strong memories. I thought I had always remembered it all, but just now I recalled certain portions of the experience that had faded. When it was over, I made it safely back to my family, though it turned out that they hadn't really missed me. Oh. Kazuki hugged me while bawling. He held me so tight while tears flooded. I'll never forget how Kazuki was that day. That's when I decided I had to get it together. I was Kazuki's big sister, so I didn't have the luxury of sulking through life. I still remember the look Kazuki had while crying, but I'd forgotten the vow I made. I failed to properly watch out for my brother.
You have consciously forgotten it, but you might have still remembered it in your heart. Isn't that why you keep reaching out to your brother, no matter how often he rejects you?
Yanagi slowly spoke up, after being quiet and listening for a while. Drawn in by his manner, I looked to Yanagi. His words and expression were kind. Yeah.
Just as you still haven't forgotten the warmth you received from your brother. I'm sure that your brother hasn't forgotten the kindness and affection you showed him. He's at a difficult age, so it's what it is. The situation may get worse before it gets better, but this phase won't last forever. Even if siblings aren't compatible, they're always connected somehow, no matter how little they get along. If you truly decide to sacrifice for your brother's benefit, then never give up. If you're persistent, he'll understand someday.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd been etching Yanagi's words into my heart. I hoped he was all right. I wanted to believe him.
I have a much older brother. When I was young, I decided I couldn't stand him, just because. I always felt like he was talking down to me just because he was a grown-up. Well, to be fair, he did call me an idiot all the time.
Kinda like Sasazaka with me and Enomoto both? Of course Enomoto and I would bond against Sasazaka.
But I was totally oversensitive to it at my age.
He called you an idiot. That makes him sound just like Sasazaka.
Yeah, they might have a slight resemblance, but Sasazaka isn't as cold-hearted as my brother.
He's cold-blooded?
He prioritizes reputation and appearance. I suppose you could call him a public servant.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Our personalities never quite meshed, but I wouldn't call my brother a bad person. I took everything my brother said at face value. I'm sure I was the only one who bothered him more by reacting like a brat.
I see.
Well, that's how things were. It seems so stupid when I think about it now.
It's kind of charming to imagine you losing your temper at everything your brother says. Have you two ever made up?
You really don't have to imagine that.
Is it embarrassing? But it does make me curious. What exactly were you like when you were little?
When I was little, I was a child.
He said it like it was obvious.
I just mean I was far more childish than other children my age.
It was hard for me to imagine the mature Yanagi that I knew as a child.
It was especially bad from elementary to middle school. You could say I was a delinquent.
A delinquent? You? No way! I really couldn't fathom how that was at all possible. The Yanagi I knew bore no resemblance to what he was describing to me.
Does it surprise you that much?
It's not surprising, it's more like completely unthinkable. I expect you to just say you were lying.
That bad, huh?
Well, it's hard to imagine you on a motorcycle wielding a baseball bat. And with blonde hair? The image pretty much broke my imagination.
I didn't dye my hair. As for the bat and bike, sure, close enough.
Really? Close enough?
Also, I had piercings.
Oh my god! I really can't imagine that. Do you still have the holes? Can you show me? Where were the piercings? Where were they? Piercings? That did it. My mind was broken. He had to be playing a joke on me. What about the way you talked? Did you roll your R's and stuff like that?
You're getting awfully into this. Are you obsessed with delinquent life?
I'm just trying to imagine it. No, but the idea that you were once a delinquent is just too out there for me to imagine.
I guess I probably had a dirty mouth, and probably a mean expression to match.
Could you maybe talk a little bit like you used to? I feel like that's pretty rude.
Oh, what?
Well, I'm still having trouble accepting this.
Talk the way I used to talk.
Yanagi thought about it for a while. I waited for it, my heart pounding.
Nah, forget it.
Aww.
If I did, you might get charmed by it, and go into some kind of shock.
Charmed? I have no idea what you mean. I literally can't imagine it after all.
Anyway, you could basically just describe my past as the archetypal delinquent.
This world really is full of wondrous mysteries.
Is it really that strange to you? I'm not understanding this.
Pictures! Show us pictures! He had a wry smile, but I didn't back down. When I firmly nodded in agreement, Yanagi just shrugged.
That's just the kind of kid I was. All I did was cause my family unnecessary worries. I don't see them anymore. But I'd like to think my pursuit of X-Day is protecting them in some way.
He doesn't see them anymore? Are you and your family far apart?
They're not in Shinjuku, but they're in Tokyo. It's just been years since I've seen them.
Eh?
When I became a police officer, I cut ties to my family. Same goes for my friends, too.
Why? Yanagi looked at me gently in response to my thoughtless question. I could see quiet conviction in his eyes.
When I decided to become a police officer, I made up my mind to fight this fight alone. Being a detective is particularly dangerous. Worst case scenario, my position could become a threat to the people important to me.
Always living the superhero lifestyle.
I didn't want that.
I understood the logic, and that also means that he's going to be hesitant to date us because he doesn't want anybody coming after us for revenge for anything he does. Still, it was a drastic determination to sever all ties to his private life. But it's kind of dumb anyway because people can still find your family even if you separate yourself from them. You told me the reason you quit the police is because you wanted to protect everything. Is that also why you cut your ties to your friends and family?
Yeah.
As a cop, he didn't want to become a liability to anyone, so he gave up his relationships and then sacrificed his police career. Everything Yanagi did was to protect others. He had no qualms about self-sacrifice. He's a saint. Why does he go this far? That's right, he wants to atone as well, I think. It's true that when you're in the police, there are things you can't protect because of the rules. But does quitting the police give you the ability to protect everything? Isn't it impossible to protect so much? I didn't voice my concerns, but they existed. Perhaps my thoughts took this route because I was aware of my own powerlessness.
Of course, I know they're just noble intentions.
Yanagi looked calm.
Honestly, I protected many people as a cop. I gained confidence that I could help people. The reason I couldn't protect anyone wasn't because the police organization was wrong. I was just too weak. When it came down to it, I didn't have the guts to shoot a criminal.
Huh?
Even when I'm facing an assailant who's hurt others, I never think of taking their life. Crime must have a fitting punishment, but ending criminals' lives just to prevent a crime is something I never consider.
I had a lot of thoughts in response to what Yanagi said. I have to agree with him. You're right. I don't believe it's right to arbitrarily hurt someone because they've committed a crime. Earlier, I decided I'd shoot without hesitation to protect people from criminals. I knew that I needed to be clear on that in order to protect people. But not all criminals actually hurt people while committing their crimes. That's such an obvious realization. My thinking might have been too extreme. To protect victims, there are times when we don't have any other choice, but we shouldn't forget the value of life. So, I don't think that what you're saying is all that strange, Yanagi.
You're strong.
Yanagi smiled. It was a warm, gentle smile.
You have an unwavering determination, yet you're still willing to hear people out. It's a bold, incorruptible strength. I don't think there are many people like you.
I didn't know how to react when he complimented me with that kind expression. I don't have much experience, so it's just words for now. Who knows how I'll react in a real situation?
You can be forthright because you're green. Your sincerity can be a weapon. You should stay that way.
Yanagi.
I want you to stay that way.
Thank you. His sudden expression resonated inside of me. Yanagi is kinder than any other person I know. When I listened to him talk, I wanted to sympathize with his ideals. Yanagi's wishes and ideals were motivated by pure kindness. He wanted to protect everything. He refused to accept peace built on others' sacrifices. His ideals were easy to dismiss as fantasies, but to me, his ideals seemed beautiful. I want to help him. His desire burned fiercely in my heart. While I was thinking, Yanagi handed me several sheets of paper. He didn't say anything, so I understood. I also looked down at the papers he gave me. They were documents. They contained information about Adonis that Yanagi apparently dug up on his own. He doesn't want the caller to hear this? There was information in here that Minagishi's files hadn't contained, so I was grateful. I nodded quietly in thanks. Yanagi laughed and made small talk.
Well, don't push yourself too hard.
Yes, I'll try to work hard. That's exactly what you said not to do.
I'm not sure whether that gives me confidence or not.
It's not like that. I'll be fine, really. Mommy? Mommy, where are you? Oh, darn it. Okay, I guess we're getting into a whole new scene where we're gonna have to help the little girl find her mommy, or protect her from some random person. So, we'll end the video here. I kept going because I was like, it seems like this conversation's winding down, but then it didn't. So, yeah, like I said, we'll end it here. Wow, I'm really surprised about the whole getting invited to Investigations HQ, but yeah, Minagishi's he practically dropped the hint right out in the open. I was like, whoa, man, really? It's pretty cool it's pretty cool how things are progressing along here. Alright, well anyway, I hope to see you in the next episode, or in some of my other ones. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.